So let's talk Earthbound. This game is nuts. It seriously has it all. A girl with telekinesis, an Asian sir that doesn't care if his eyes are gouged out, and you can even fight hippies. Boom! What else do you want? But seriously, aside from my inner rage towards 16-bit hippies, I can't deny the huge impact that this game has made on my life. I remember the first time I played it. I was a young lad, probably 8 or 9 years old. My cousin John gave it to me saying, "Play this game and live," or something along those lines. So I took it and never gave it back. Joke's on him, because if I was a monster and believed in selling nostalgia, I could make a serious coin off of this. Thanks for the payday, sucker. But seriously, thanks for the amazing gift. Anyway, he gives me the game, and me and my sister ride our bikes home. That part of the story isn't important, but we flip it on, and like idiot kids load the current game rather than start a new game, and cousin John had just got to DeLam, and we ended up confused as shit and had no idea how anything worked. My second impression of the game, a short while later, was amazing. I was snagged forever into this game. Ness was always my favorite because you're with him the longest, he never leaves a group, and you get to see his dog. He's just cool and knows his way around a bat and a yo-yo. I respect that. However, all the characters are great in their own too, and other than the fact that I wish Jeff could do a little more with his genius ability, like you construct some rudimentary one-use super weapon during a battle that would do crazy damage and then explode, or he would combine other characters' old weapons into something he could use. I've thought about it before. I guess if you're watching this video, you've played Earthbound a time or 10, so nothing's new is what I'm going to say. So let me change your mindset in this game right now. Let me put everything into perspective of why we love this game so much. And I wouldn't reference other theories about the game, about an allegory to abortion or evil undertones. No! I will be relating to each and every person playing this game and why we play it over and over again. Plain and simple, the journey, and more importantly, the locations that our 4 lovable characters travel through is representation of our lives and how it naturally progresses. And here's how. O-Net represents your hometown, the place you grew up, the place that no matter how it ends up seeming when you get older, should it ultimately become run down, maybe crime goes up, or what have you, you always maintain a view of how pleasant it once was. It's the only location in the game with such vibrant colors. The greens are greener than any other green, there's even a luscious blue lake at Beak Point, and the equally vibrant sky frames it all. It's got an arcade, something a young kid will retain in his memory. Heck, the house even towers on a hill, practically the highest point in town. Perhaps that's just an allegory to how it feels growing up. Then you get to Tucson, and things change a bit. The colors get a bit dull and you're exposed to a few new things and people. Say this is when you're in high school, the age where things are familiar but you're finding new things that scare you. You have limitations, at least until you're strong enough to overcome them. You have to go outside your comfort zone, like through peaceful Rest Valley, to find a few friends, perhaps a romantic attachment, who knows. But in a place like Happy Happy Village, you encounter a cult. I feel that Tucson and its surrounding areas are a representation of who you evolve into at the stage of your life, or whom you let influence you, how you perceive things, like it's black and white, or in this case, blue. But in the end, when you conquer it all, you're able to move away from your misconceptions of people, and now you can appreciate those different people. Apple Kid, Orange Kid, Everdread, Paul and her fam, the Runaway Five, that weird bunch. But by the time Threed comes around, this is when you get a bit diluted. I feel like this is when you're in college or simply after high school, when you're trying to find yourself for the first time. You're more independent and you're lost. It's dark. Maybe your inner demons shining through. Maybe they represent responsibilities or bills that you have, but it's an eerie place in life. Maybe you start following the wrong examples. Maybe not hookers per se, but you get the idea. Now, 4 side comes around, and this is when the tides are turning. You have developed yourself and got past the step-offs. This is a successful part in life. Maybe you have a good job in a bustling city. Maybe just a place you've never been. Like the walls of the city imply. It's like a place that's the end of the world. You've made it to the top. It's even ripe with culture, several musical acts, those familiar and those new. A museum for your mind, and a huge department store for your pants, potentially. Not to mention maybe partaking in spirits, or hell, I'll say it, drugs. But maybe not, who can tell. But what I think that this is the last physical place you'll visit, and here's why. You see, I could go on and argue that summer is where you retire, and winters is where you take your kids for a luxury ski trip, and DeLam is the travel place, broad, blah, blah, blah. But I won't, because I'm sure that if you're watching this video, you're not in your 50s, or even 40s. I bet you're like me, somewhere between 26 and 36. Well, I'm 28, I know my age. I didn't think that I was part of a 10-year gap, whatever, right? Anyways, we're still in your 4-side state of life, regardless of what age you are. My theory was that this is why we keep coming back to the game and playing it over and over again, because it's familiar. Not only the in-game familiarities, but the way the characters evolve and reminisce of the way we've evolved. But I ain't done, fool. The remaining locations of the game are as followed, in no particular order. Summers in Toto, Winters in Stonehenge, Brick Road Dungeon Man, Skabara, which I always called Scaraba, for some reason, I don't know. Dalam, Deep Darkness, and the Lost Underworld and Magic Game. These places collectively represent the abstract of life, and I'll explain it to you in a lightning round. Summers and Toto, and Winters and Stonehenge represent imagination. They're how we romanticize summer and winter, go figure. But for these reasons, as Jeff, you are cooped up in school only to be released by a monkey with a bubble and a Loch Ness monster. Since at least 19 to 23 years of your life, most of the winters spent in school and daydreaming, it makes sense to me. And summer is when you're free from being boarded up inside, and that's primarily why you have to go out of your way to get into any or most buildings in summers. Why would you want to be inside? Deep Darkness is what seems like a 10-mile journey. First through darkness, then through poison water, and finally you are rewarded with a gingerly visit with things that don't even want to talk to you, but immediately send you back on a quest that leads you to revisiting your hometown, but this time it's sad, and you return back to sad things, and they show you a way to a deep bowels of the earth, where you just end up in the lost underworld, where you look, and I'm sure feel small, and the whole ordeal ultimately ends with you in a coma state where you imagine everything from the past, and it makes you cry, and that whole thing is the depression of growing up. Starting when you first step off the boat in Scaraba, you were reminded of something similar but not identical to when you were developing yourself back in the quote-unquote high school portion of your journey. The marketplace. Though similar to Tucson, it's strangely different and doesn't give the same feel and nostalgia that you'd hope for. It's more so filled with snakes. But then you're immediately thrown into a desert, another reminder of the dusty dunes when you're transitioning into growing up. But before you get comfortable again, you're reminded of your dreams. Perhaps the ones weren't fulfilled when you see the Brick Road Dungeon Man in the middle of nowhere and you suddenly seem to be the only one who recognizes or appreciates him. As quickly as you do, you leave him stranded, forever stuck, and that's right as you drift away into your depression phase, remembering your dreams that you've left behind and that you'll never be able to see the past the same way because the present is too similar but different and less vibrant like Onett and a lot deeper, darker, and you're lost more than ever. Dalam seems to have no reference at all. The game itself generalizes the game travel into three categories. Eagleland, which is Onett to Fourside, Foggyland, which is Summers, Toto, Winters, and Stonehenge, and Chomo, whatever it's pronounced, from Scarab, Dalam, and Deep Darkness. Growing up, daydreaming, and realization. I didn't know that until I started writing this, so it was kind of an ironic thing that it kind of matched what I was talking about. But at the ending, right after, literally immediately after you exit the depression stage, you sacrifice everything for the rest of the world and win, right? Well, I don't think so. You see, you have to travel to the past to defeat the game. Suddenly, you're distorting time and space, which seems completely out of character for the rest of the game, and you travel to a time before everything else you just played and defeated, a boundary-less being that can only be defeated by prayer, which finally results in you saving the day and returning your bodies to the present era, without all the enemies from before. And after you defeated him, you can go home to where it all was a lot simpler and all's right in the world. I think it's part of the metaphysical drive of the character or the player, maybe almost a spiritual voice to bend time and space to better yourself and know it's okay to start over. The very ending of the game shows us that you can continue to roam the world forever or return home and choose to start over. The end? No, it's never the end. I'll continue playing it again and again, through and through. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed my take on Earthbound. I'd love to hear what you thought. I'd also love for you to swing by my channel and enjoy some of my other work. Now this is my first video game or theory style video, but I have 200 plus original videos to browse with content from time-lapses to comedy shorts to videos with my new son Milo or even some urban explorations. And while you're there, click that subscribe button and I'll let you know anytime I have a new video out, which is more often than you think. Here are a couple right now to check out.